Well, welcome back to the shop. This is our next project right here. This is the seat frame for a 1958 Studebaker pickup that I've been working on. I'm going to have to modify this so that I can put modern day seats in it. I've done this once before, and now the seats I want to put in here have the seat belts already mounted in them. It's definitely going to be a lot safer than just having the lap belt by itself. Once we get this all done, we can start on that interior, get that out of the way, get the front buttoned up on this thing. So that's going to be the next project coming up. I've got it secured to the welding table now that we got the welding table built. All right, so let's dive into the next project here at hand, and that is we're going to tear down a brand new Carter 4227 fuel pump. And it wasn't pumping any fuel, and we're going to troubleshoot it and see what might have been the problem. Let's head over there now and tear into that. Well, what we have here is a fuel pump that I bought off of Amazon. It is a Carter 4227 supposedly. I mean, it looks just like it. The arm is a little different though. This arm should actually be extending up much higher, like this. So I'm going to tear this apart. I can't return it. I'm past my deadline, so let's tear it apart and see if we can find any issues with this. First we'll do is take the bowl off. And it wasn't pumping fuel for me. And I just kind of wonder if maybe we're going down that road of a preload situation on the diaphragm when you install the housing. Okay, well, there's the bottom bowl. And then you can see our check valves in there. Let's go ahead and take this housing off. This was supposed to be for a Studebaker 259 engine. And I've ordered these in the past, as mentioned in my previous video. And they work great. And it was cheaper to buy one than it was to rebuild one, actually. And they're still pretty cheap. But if it doesn't work out of the box, what good is it? And we're going to inspect those check valves too, and make sure there's no trash that could be under them. During manufacturing, there could have been some fragments of casting or light metal. That's interesting. What is that? Huh. That's weird. They just glue those check valves in there now. All right, I'm going to poke on these check valves. I'm just kind of pushing down lightly on that seal just to make sure there's nothing under there. I think we're good. Not sure why this didn't work other than that arm. Well, let's put this in the vise. Okay, what we're going to do is put a preload on this. So we're going to get these holes lined up again. This is our outlet here. So that's going to be 180 from our plunger. Get one started here safely. Okay, so that's started. Get the rest of our screws over here. Now lift all the way up and start installing screws. After we get it all put back together, I'll be curious if it makes any different sounds when we manipulate this plunger. I'm going in a crisscross pattern here. I don't have a torque value on it. I'm just snugging them up. All right, let's go ahead and put this bottom back on. Okay, now we can test it here. I blow in the inlet, the outlet, I should have air coming out. So that's good. Now when I go in reverse, I should not. And before I started filming, I actually did a test. And I don't believe I was able to get air to go through the inlet. I just kind of quickly did it, so I wish I would have. I have one more. We'll try it and see. So now when I blow in the outlet, I should have nothing coming out of the inlet. And I don't. I don't know. We're going to have to try that. And that might have been all it needed. But this arm still does not go up as high as it should. Okay. We're going to put that to the side. Let's open up this other one now. Yeah, I ended up going through 3 different fuel pumps before I got one that would work on that pickup. And this one is brand new in the bag. So I never even tried this one. Let's take it out and see what it sounds like. Huh, that sounds a lot different. More dramatic. Okay, so here's the inlet and the outlet. Boy, it's kind of hard to blow through that. There it goes. Okay, now I'll blow in the inlet and let the ears ache again. And nothing. This one here will probably work, but again, look at these arms. And the problem is, I don't think this is going to hit the lobe that drives this. Now, this is the original that came on the engine when I bought it. This one's been rebuilt, but if you look at those arms, they're a lot different. Now, if I wanted to, I could probably make it work in some way, but I don't think that's what we're going to do right now. Well, I'm going to bag this back up, put it back in the box, save it for another day. And I'm going to throw this one in there too. 2 for 1. All right, back to the parts bin with that. Well, it's time to clean out the old ultrasonic cleaner. I've run quite a bit through this already. If you don't have one of these, you got to check them out. I'll leave a link below. All of this gunk that is in here, and there's a lot of it, would have been in the air in the shop, because I would have been using a wire wheel back in the day. And yeah, so all this would have been just floating around in the shop, in your lungs. This is just so much safer to use. Not everybody needs one, but they come in so many different sizes that there's no reason not to have one, actually. It's just amazing. Got one little part there. Well, maybe 2. Oh, that's my little screen. I'm grabbing all my used towels just to use them one more time and get some mileage out of them. I don't really have a container that I can dump this into right now, so I just gotta clean it up this way. Get my money's worth out of these towels. Well, I think that is pretty good. Okay, the last thing to do is put that screen back in. I really thought that this would get plugged up real bad, but it did not. Okay, put the basket back in. And now all I got to do is go get some more simple green. Ready for more action. All right, time to add a little simple green and some distilled water to this so it's ready to go next time. I'm gonna put a whole gallon of this in. This stuff is relatively cheap. It's like $9 or so a gallon, and well worth it in my book. Now my other stuff was still cleaning just fine, but I am gonna use what I drained out of here as a soaking bucket for stuff that is really caked up good. And so that'll be kind of the pre, and this will be the post version of the cleanup. Now I'm going to add some water. Here goes my first gallon. And again, I'm using a distilled water. All right, here's 1 gallon, my second gallon. And I'm going to throw that 3rd gallon in. All right. Well, thank you everyone for hanging out today during this midweek run. I just wanted to throw this out to show you the upcoming project, which is going to be that seat frame for this 1958. Follow along with that project, see what I do, see what I create to make something a little safer than they did in 58. Wow, sounds like a high school chant. The ultrasonic cleaner is all taken care of, and you saw all that rust residue in the bottom of it. That's residue that would have been floating in the air, getting in your lungs, and settling out over your projects. Not only is that unsafe, but it's messy and very time consuming if you want to go around and start cleaning everything up. And I've done that in the past, and I'll tell you what, I hate it. I am so glad that I got that ultrasonic cleaner, and I got a description below for that one, as well as many others that they carry. So they actually make, well, one for just about everyone. So check that out. You're not going to be disappointed. And while you're checking that out, hit the old like button. I appreciate it. It helps the channel out a lot. And subscribe to follow along. We got a lot of stuff to get done in the shop. This 58 is only one of the projects. We have a 58, we got a 62, we got a 52, and a 63. I need to start playing the lottery a little more. That's what I need to do. Well, having said that, I think it's time that, well, you get out to the shop and be careful. We'll see you right here this Saturday morning at 7 a.m. in the shop.